Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into something, well, pretty unexpected about the SR-71 Blackbird.
Ah, the Blackbird. An incredible machine.
Totally. But picture this. It's flying at Mach 3, way up at 75,000 feet. Extreme conditions, right?
Absolutely. Thin air, freezing cold. Not exactly hospitable.
So what if I told you we're looking into whether it actually hit bugs up there?
Bugs at 75,000 feet and Mach 3, that sounds highly improbable.
Exactly. It sounds wild. But that's the core question for this deep dive. Did this actually happen?
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the source for this? Where does this idea even come from?
It comes from analyzing the actual windshields from SR-71 missions after they returned to base.
Right, post-flight inspections makes sense. What did they find?
They found these tiny, tiny black dots embedded in the windshield.
Embedded, not just splattered on the surface.
No, like little burn speck, almost fused into the material. And apparently, Lockheed, the builders, they didn't know what they were at first.
Huh. That is strange. You'd expect maybe micrometeoroids or paint flecks, but embedded black dots?
Right. Just a mystery. So what do you do with a mystery like that involving a multi-million-dollar spy plane?
You investigate. I assume they sent the windshields for some kind of analysis, lab testing.
Exactly. They had to figure out what these specks were made of, what could possibly be hitting the windshield with enough force to embed itself at that speed and altitude.
Okay, so the labs get these windshield samples.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The results came back, and it wasn't dust or metal or anything inorganic.
Go tell me.
Yep, organic material.
Wow.
Specifically, the lab test determined these tiny black specks were, well, the remains of insects.
Insects. Okay, so the SR-71 Blackbird, flying faster than a rifle bullet nearly 15 miles up, was hitting bugs.
Mind-blowing, isn't it? Bugs.
So the immediate question is, how? How are insects getting to 75,000 feet? They don't fly that high.
That's what everyone wondered. They obviously aren't flapping their way up there.
No. So what's the theory? There must be one.
The prevailing theory, and it's quite something, points to nuclear testing.
Nuclear testing? How does that connect?
Well, the idea is that the massive force of atmospheric nuclear detonations, back in the day,
Okay.
could have blasted all sorts of stuff high into the atmosphere.
Really?
Dust, debris, and apparently insects, right up into the stratosphere.
Huh. Propelled upwards by the blast wave and the mushroom cloud, maybe? That's plausible, I suppose. Extraordinary, but plausible.
So these weren't just like high-flying super insects. They were regular insects caught up in some pretty extreme unnatural events.
And once they're up there in the stratosphere.
They just circulate, wouldn't they? Along with dust and other fine particles carried by the high-altitude winds, kind of floating around the Earth at that altitude.
Right. Caught in the stratospheric currents. So the SR-71 wasn't flying through like a swarm, but encountering individual insects that had been circulating up there for potentially a long time.
Seems to be the idea. It just shows how far-reaching the effects of something like nuclear testing could be, putting biological matter in totally unexpected places.
Places we think of as essentially sterile or close to it. 75,000 feet is well above where weather happens. It's incredibly harsh.
Yeah, it really underscores how little we might know about what's actually in those extreme upper layers of the atmosphere.
And it challenges our assumptions, doesn't it? About where life or the remains of life can end up. These extreme events can redistribute things globally in ways we wouldn't predict.
So let's just recap the main point here. The answer to the question is yes.
Yes, the SR-71, traveling at Mach 3, 75,000 feet up, did indeed collide with insects.
And those little black dots were the unfortunate evidence, embedded right into the windshield.
Likely propelled high into the stratosphere years earlier by nuclear tests, circulating the globe until they met a blackbird.
It's an incredible story, a real testament to unexpected phenomena in extreme environments.
It really is a strange intersection of cutting-edge technology and, biology where you'd least expect it.
Definitely gives you something to think about. If insects ended up circulating the stratosphere because of nuclear tests impacting aircraft, what other microscopic hitchhikers or unexpected consequences might be floating around up there or in other environments we think are empty or fully understood?
What else are we missing about the lasting impact of major events on even the most remote parts of our planet?
A fascinating thought. Something to ponder until our next deep dive.